guess what? Here I am. I am in Lake Havasu, right? Make sure we call it Lake Havasu.
Or Havasu.
Or Havasu. This is Jillian. Jillian is the main reason I came down here. She invited me to come down here to see this amazing fireworks show. And you guys need to check out her website. It is riverscenemagazine.com. And it's got all these cool little exposés about this amazing city and everything. So check it out. It's her baby. So check out, and I'll put the right there. You can read it. riverscenemagazine.com. And now, but the reason we're here, do you see this bridge? She brought me this bridge because this, what bridge is this?
Okay, this is the London Bridge, actually from London, and it came in 1968. Robert McCulloch and Stevie Wood, there's a whole connection there with Disney, with Stevie Wood.
Yeah.
But they're the one that purchased the bridge for $2.4 million in London and brought it here.
This is the actual London Bridge.
Yeah.
That was in London, and they brought it here, brick by brick.
Shipped here, yes.
And it says that Jack the Ripper has walked across this bridge
Years ago, yeah.
years ago, obviously. And for those of you who've seen Braveheart, you know William Wallace, when he was executed, his head was put on this particular bridge to ward off people. Says don't try to uprising. So his head was on this bridge too. So we're gonna walk across the London Bridge in Arizona. Let's do this. And there you can see the city of London, London Bridge, here in Arizona. It's amazing. The London Bridge was purchased from the City of London on April 18th, 1968 for $2.4 million. It took 3 years and another $4.5 million to transport and rebuild the bridge. The grand opening took place on October 10th, 1971. This is the bridge. So this is the actual London Bridge. We're walking across it. Now the reason, you might be like, well, why here? Well, the city's founders thought that'd be a really cool thing. Like, we'll do this here at Havasu City, and people, it'll kind of create some tourism, and people come to see it. And boy, howdy has it. People come here, they want to see this bridge, they want to walk across the London Bridge. And one of the cool things you might notice as we're walking across this bridge is you have the American flag and the Union Jack. Yeah, we got both flags here represented. So it's kind of crazy. And when they built this bridge, though, there wasn't any water underneath the bridge.
It was all dirt.
It was all dirt. So the bridge went over dirt. So they ended up digging this out and making this like a trench so that the water would come underneath this bridge.
The Bridgewater Channel is what we call it now.
The Bridgewater Channel.
Yeah.
It's man-made waterway so that they can have water go underneath the London Bridge. And so we're gonna just kind of walk here and just check this out. I'm gonna walk up here and just gonna look at the water.
Yeah.
You see? They have a little marina here. It's really cool. This is all from London. That's crazy.
And you are not allowed to jump off the bridge either.
Oh, and Jillian wanted to make sure that you understood that you're not allowed to jump off this bridge. I was thinking about it, but now I won't.
No,
okay.
we won't let you.
They'll fine you, apparently.
You'll get fined.
You'll get fined. Do you ever worry that it might fall down? London Bridge is falling down.
No.
Falling down. Falling down.
Falling down.
London Bridge is falling down. Now I want to show this here because I walked past. So, like, it's different, and they repaired it. They actually have a whole storage of the stones from the London Bridge. So it's real. This is still London stone. They had to reshape it to match in, and they have a whole quarry here of those stones, just in case if something ever happens to it, that they can repair it and keep it in good standing. All right, so they also have these street lamps here, right? Now these street lamps is metal, and supposedly this was the metal that was Napoleon's cannons, and they melted down the cannons and made them into street lamps. And they brought them over. So this is supposed to be from Napoleon. You know, as a Napoleon Dynamite. Wrong Napoleon. Gosh.
Give me your thoughts.
Okay, so I'm actually a little bit underneath the bridge. I want to show you this. If you look in the stone, you can kind of see, it says, let's see if I get a little photo out there. You can see like Sergeant, and then it says PFC Smith, Private First Class. These were American soldiers, and there's another one on top. They carved their names in the bridge, at the London Bridge, when it was in London. This is in London. And they carved it, and that stone has been brought over here now. Now it's here in Arizona. And then if you look beyond that, you can see where it says like FL5. That's because when they shipped it over, each brick had to be categorized. So they kept it categorized. And so that one there, that one just you kind of see prominently. And this is kind of the underside of the London Bridge. Right there, they're walking underneath it. Crossing on the other side of the street. Now, I have to tell you a story that I know about this bridge. All right, Jillian, so I lived in London, went to school in London, and when I was there, I visited their Tower Bridge, right?
Right.
And I was like, oh, is this the London Bridge? And they're like, no, the London Bridge is actually in Arizona. And I'm like, what? So I learned about it. What's funny though, is they don't even acknowledge it. Right. They're like, it's out in the middle of the desert somewhere. Nobody's there. It's just out in the middle of the desert and there's no water around it. That's what they told us. And I'm like, well, not quite true, but.
The Colorado River is around us, but back then in the 60s and 50s, Havasu was...
Whoa. Are you saying I was going to school in the 60s?
No. Yeah, basically. No, but back in the 50s and 60s, there weren't very many people here. The only people that were here was they used it as a military testing site out on the river.
Yeah.
And they did a lot of military stuff. So they had military barracks here. Then 1961 is the earliest I've seen a letter with C.V. Wood, who again is connected with Disneyland. Him and Robert McCulloch started designing Havasu.
Yeah.
And they got the bridge. They were trying to come up with a part of our tourism, so they got the bridge.
Okay.
So they knew which bridge they were buying. A lot of people say that they don't, but they did. They knew exactly which bridge they were buying, and they brought it here.
Okay. Again, she's also a huge Disney fan, by the way. Who's your favorite Disney character?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Because now that Star Wars is a part of Disney.
Oh, did she change everything? Okay, fair enough.
I'm wearing my Cars jacket.
I can see you got your Cars jacket on.
I just love all things Disney.
So, all right, that's fine. Okay, riverscenemagazine.com, and she's the editor, she's the photographer, she writes the copy, and she has several other like freelance employees that help her out. Check it out, check out the website, and then leave a comment and say, Provost Park Pass sent me, so she'll know. Okay. All right, guys. And it was her idea for me to come down. She emailed me, said, you got to come down and see this amazing fireworks show. There's going to be a bunch of Disney people down here. And I was like, I'm all over it. So it was awesome. Thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure. Yeah. Here it is, guys, the London Bridge. Hello, everybody. You're watching Park Pass. My name is Chris. I'm driving a Dodge Charger through the desert for 150 miles. I am returning from Lake Havasu. Went to this amazing fireworks show, probably the best fireworks show in the world. It was awesome. If you haven't watched that video, go back and watch it. I mean, it was insanely cool. I couldn't believe how cool it was. It was awesome, and I had a great time. This fireworks show had drones in it, and it was Back to the Future theme. It was amazing. Had a great time. Anywho, I'm driving because I've got a lot coming up here we need to talk about. I'm going to be leaving soon to go to Asia. I'm going to go to Tokyo Disney. I'm going to go first to Universal Studios Japan, then to Tokyo Disney, to Tokyo Disney Sea. Then I'm going to go from there. I'm going to finally make it to Shanghai Disney. Whoa, sorry. That was me driving a little bit on the to Shanghai Disney. And Shanghai Disney is the last Disney resort I have not visited. I finally able to cross it off and say I've visited every single Disney park in the world. But in order to get there, I didn't want to go alone. So I found this Dutch travel group. I call them the Dutch Bros because of the Dutch Bros coffee. I found this Dutch travel group, and I'm traveling with like 80 Dutch people I'm going to go over some railroad tracks. Hang on here. It's going to get a little bumpy. Gunk. So here we go. And railroad track. There we go. Anyways, I am going, so like with 80 Dutch people, and the whole tour group is going to be in Dutch, and I've been trying to learn Dutch. I literally have been trying to learn it for the last couple of months. I can basically say the child cannot read the newspaper. I'm not even joking. That's like what I learned how to say in Dutch. I don't know if I'll even use that sentence while I'm there. But I'm going with them to Shanghai. I'll be there in Shanghai. I am going to do a VIP Shanghai tour and try to see every single aspect of Shanghai Disney. And then one day, the Dutch group, they're going off to actually Shanghai to visit the city of Shanghai. I will be staying at Shanghai Disney because while I'm there, I'm going to get as much Disney content as I can. And I'll be showing that. After Disney Shanghai, I am then going to be flying to Hong Kong, and where Amanda and Miles will be meeting me. Amanda and Miles are there. Going to be there earlier than I get there. They're going to be traveling with Amanda's family, and then we're meeting up in Hong Kong together. And I'll be doing some stuff at Disney Hong Kong, and also traveling with the Dutch tour group. So yeah, and then I've actually signed up for like a night thing with a tour group with them, and I'm taking Amanda and Miles with me on that. So it's coming up. And I mean, literally, guys, we've got a lot going on. I want to know what it is you want to see. I'm gonna try to do full tours of Universal Studios Japan, full tours of Disney, try to show you all the cool things you need to know, and I try to do it for two different ways when I do these videos. I try to do it in one way for people who are trying to prepare to go on a trip so they can see like what it is that they need to know. And then the other way I try to do it is for those people who maybe never have a chance to go there, that they get a chance to actually see what it's like to go to like Shanghai. So I'm excited, a little bit nervous, but it's going to be fun. And so it'll be cool. All right, driving on. And now just for this is my platform, right? So I can say the things that I like to say. And so I just want to take a quick moment, and I wanted to talk to like the youth, if you're a teenager or like a tween or whatever, I just want you to know that you are amazing. And I know it's a complicated world, and there's lots of social media and like the TikToks and all that stuff, and you see all these things on it. That's not real. And I just want you to know that you are real. You are amazing. And you make the world a better place. I want you to really internalize that. I know you're going through kind of a weird time in your life. You know, being a teenager is a little bit awkward sometimes, but you are awesome. And I just want you to know that. You might not see that enough, like on different social media platforms, or it's just not true. Like things you see on Instagram, and I don't know if you know this. You know how like somebody posts a photo and it looks like they're having the best time. You have to realize that that's not true. They probably on their phone have like 400 photos, and they're going through curating and trying to find the perfect photo because they're worried they want to look really good. And then they probably edit it, and they use filters and all that stuff to make it look like they're having a really fun moment, and they're not, because what they're doing is they take 400 photos of that moment, and then they go sit there on their phone, they go through try to find them all, and then they post as if they're still having fun in that moment. But then they're worried about their photo, like is anybody liking their photo and that stuff. That's a lot of pressure. So I just want you to know that you are amazing, and you are real. You make the world a better place. And so if you're going through some difficult times, it gets better. It gets better. And I'm going to make a recommendation. So this sounds way off the topic, but it's so fun. Do any of you guys play board games? Like as a family, you guys play board games with your friends or family? I really recommend it. It's so good. But we got a new board game, and I'll put a link down below if you want to check it out. I bought it off of Amazon. It's called Castle Panic. And it's this game where you have a castle in the center of the board, and every turn, a new wave of monsters is trying to take down your castle. And you work cooperatively. So like Miles, Amanda, and I, the three of us, we played it so much. We've even ended up buying expansion packs for it and everything. It's a really fun game, but it's kind of a fun game because you're playing as a family. And so if you guys are looking for something fun to do with the family, that might be a really great activity to do. I think it's just awesome. And I just thought I would just say that. I mean, I really like it. Castle Panic it's fantastic. We're just enjoying it. And the thing is you don't always win. Sometimes you lose. Sometimes we try our best to win, and the monsters overtake our castle, and we lose. And I think that's really a good concept, because if you just win all the time, it gets boring, and life isn't like that, because there are times when you definitely lose in life. Like, sometimes life doesn't always give you roses. So, yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about that. Castle Panic, it's a really fun board game. You might be wondering what it's like to travel to Asian countries. What's that like? Is it different than going to European countries? It is a little bit different. It is different. Not in a bad way or a good way. It's just different. The culture's different. I find that when I travel to Asian countries, I have to be a little more prepared to, like, what I'm trying to do. Maybe it's not, English isn't around as much. Like, you go to the train station or the subway station, I don't see a lot of English instructions. So I have to use like Google Translate, or have my plans all mapped out on my phone before I get there, so I know what to do. When you go to Europe, like almost every country has something written in English somewhere, so it's pretty easy to find where it is you need to go. Is it hard to communicate with people? Not really. Like, mostly because I'm going to theme parks. Theme parks are usually really good because they expect like foreigners to visit, and I usually just go to the restaurants that have menus, and I'll just point to what it is that I want to eat. I don't, I might point, they'll nod a lot, and so it's not usually generally too bad. And I actually believe that when you're experiencing, like, if you ever travel to a foreign country, I find that there's generally two types of Americans. So when they travel, the first American is, don't be this guy. It's the one who gets there, they travel, and they're like telling the foreigners that their culture's wrong. They're like, well, this is how we do it in America. You should do it like this. And they think they're being helpful, whatever. I don't think they're being helpful. I think that's kind of rude. What you want to do is you want to learn whatever culture it is, try it. Why not? Like, it's when in Rome, when in Rome. And so, like, if you go there and go to an Asian country and they're just eating lots of seaweed, we encourage Miles, like, let's eat the seaweed, let's try it. We try all the different foods, we try the different customs and cultures. And what's interesting is you'll find that some of the cultures and customs, you're like, wow, I like that one, and you might kind of keep them. For example, Amanda, when she traveled to Disneyland, to Tokyo Disney, everybody there had sun umbrellas, and she loved that. And she ever since then, wherever we go, she has a sun umbrella, like it's meant to reflect the sun rays and all that. And she takes that to all the parks with her where she goes. And it's it's not as prevalent here in America, but like when in Asia, everybody did it. And so Amanda's like, she loved that aspect, and she's incorporated that now into her life, and she thinks that's great, and she loves that. And like, also, like when you go in the hotel rooms, you go in and there's always like little slippers by the door, so you take your shoes off and put your sleepers on and go to the hotel rooms. Amanda loved that. She's like, that's what we should be doing too, all the time. And so you want to experience it. I think life is all about having experiences and just doing cool things and just checking it out. That's just my opinion on that. I mean, other people have different opinions on it, but I think that you want to try to have the best experiences you can. Eat good food, travel as much as you can, see things, and don't be consumed by so much, being certain about like having all the best things. It's more fun to eat good food and travel, in my opinion. This is just my opinion on that. So it's interesting, whenever I do say something like that, people then sometimes I'll attack you in the comments. They're like, why, how dare you tell me how to live your life? I am not telling you how to live your life. I'm giving an opinion on how I enjoy to live my life, and that's just how I'm saying. I'm not judging anybody on that. So, just to be clear. I just entered into Nevada on my way to Las Vegas. On the road again. Just can't wait, get back on the road again. Do you guys like road trips? I do. I love driving. I think it's fun. It's relaxing. My mind zones out. I'm flooded by old memories. I like to get some treats and just enjoy a nice little road trip. When I was in high school, we met these girls. My friends and I met these girls, and they were from a different state, like the state over, and we were like flirting with them and having fun, and they invited us up. Like there was like some dance or something, I can't remember what it was. They invited us up to like a dance, and we're like, we wanted to go, but we knew like our parents are not gonna let us drive 5 hours to whatever to go up there. So we came up with this plan, and like we said, I was sleeping over at his house, he was sleeping at my house, blah, 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 one of those types of things. And then we got in our car, we were 16, and we drove up to see these girls. And we got there, and we went to like, they had like their school dance, and went there, and it was fun. And then afterwards, we had to drive back. Like it was right in the middle of the night, we had to drive back. And the whole reason we went was so my friend, because he really liked this girl and he really wanted to kiss her. And we get done and we're getting ready to leave, and we're like, and I was like, see him, I'm like, did you kiss her? And he's like, no, I chickened out. I was like, what? Oh my gosh. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, we drove 5 hours for you to kiss her. And he's like, I know, I panicked. And I was like, you march back in there right now and you kiss her, and then you come right back out here and we're driving home. He's like, all right. And he did. He marched back in to say goodbye to her again. And he had his first kiss. And then he came back out of the car. And, of course, you know, that nervous energy. We're like, oh, laughing. And, like, shove each other. And I push him like into a bush. You know, we're walking down the street, getting in our car. I'm laughing. Having a good time. Just being, like, you know, teenagers doing what they do. Or did. I don't know if teenagers don't seem to do that as much anymore. But anyways, then we got in the car and we drove back the whole way back. We got back, and then, you know, got back super early in the morning, and then I went home and he went home, and it was just such a fun memory for me. But I didn't tell my mom that, I think, till after I graduated from high school. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that one time we drove up, and I remember we were having dinner, and I told her that story, and she sat there and she like, I think we were eating like a pork chop or something. She like dropped the bone on the plate and just like, she's like, you did what? And I was like, it's okay now though, because no, mom still can carry that, you know, even as an adult, your mom can chastise you, and you're like, okay, yeah, moms are moms. So, yep. I don't even know why I told that story. Teenagers, man, crazy. I just thought of another funny story. So my senior year in high school, our school colors were green and white, and then gray was like the third color, I guess. But green and white were our main colors. And we were playing our arch rival in football. It was my senior year, and I was an officer, a senior class officer, and so my friends were on the football team, and we're playing our arch rival. I think it was for homecoming even, I can't remember. But I was in this art class, and we made this big giant banner, and then we took hot dogs, and we boiled hot dogs, like a bunch of them, and we poured in green food dye, right, into the water. And so these hot dogs, when they're done, they came out, they're like this green, disgusting green color. We thought we were so funny. So we took that bucket of hot dogs, and during the halftime of the football game, we marched over to the visitor side, our arch rival, the Eagles, Skyline Eagles, right? And we unfurled our banner that we had created, and it said, "Eat our green weenies." And then we threw the hot dogs at them. We're like just chucking hot dogs at them like crazy, and they're screaming and yelling, and they're getting mad, and the girls are high-pitched screaming, "Ah, no!" The hot dogs are hitting them, and we're laughing our heads off. And there was like maybe 6 or 7 of us that had done this. I can't remember exactly. But the principal of our school, she ran over and she grabbed us all. You guys, she's like, that's it. And she like brought us all over, like kind of corralled us over here. And she knew me. She's like, Chris, you know better. You're like a leader, whatever. Kind of guilt tripped me a little bit. And she's like, wait here. I'm gonna come back. You guys are gonna get your punishment. You guys are gonna be suspended and all that. And she turns to the other boys in the group, and she didn't know their names. And then she saw another perpetrator, I guess, or whatever, still throwing a hot dog. So she ran off to get that one. So I'm standing there with all my friends, and they're like, we're out. And they bolted. They just bolted. And so now I'm literally standing there all by myself. I know she knows me, right? And I'm like, geez, what am I going to do? And I'm like, that's it. And I just ran away. I'm like, I'm going to run and hide. So I went back to the game. I got back in the crowd. I was like cheering. Hey! And the whole time I'm like looking, I'm like scanning the principal. And she was actually a pretty good principal. She saw us back in the crowd, and she kind of like did one of those. And that was it. I didn't get in trouble. Lucked out. Yes, I did. Lucked out. Hey, and I do want to take a second to talk to everybody, not just the youth. I think you're amazing. I hope you hear that enough in your life. I feel like sometimes the world's gotten a little negative, and we don't hear the positivity, or there is positive messages out there, but they get drowned out. So I just want you to know that you are amazing, and I appreciate you. I really do. You are absolutely awesome. It's a deep breath, guys. I am excited. I'm going to be traveling. I get a little nervous. I'll be traveling. And I wanted to have you guys along with me, so make sure you hit the subscribe button, boop, and hit the like button, boop. Just hit it right now. It literally is free. It does cost you nothing. Hit the subscribe, and that's just like a massive way for you to say thank you to me. Like when I see like this is more people subscribe to the channel, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like validation. I'm like, oh, they like what we're doing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And if you like this video, then go ahead and like it. Just hit the like button. And that's just gonna give me a little pat in the back saying, good job, Chris. You're all alone, driving by yourself, and you're trying to talk and not go crazy, and you did a good job. You're entertaining me a little bit. So anyways, you guys are awesome. And if you want to become a Patreon, we have the best Patreon community. You get extra videos every single week just for the Patreon members. We do our announcements there. We talk about we're doing like a cruise with our Patreon members. If you want to be part of that group, it's awesome. Hit the little, there's a little link down below, and it's like $3 a month. And that goes to help support our channel so we keep producing content. You guys are the best. I do appreciate you. You're the best. If you want to become a Patreon, click the link down below. And you guys have a fantastic day. And coming up next, we're going to be having tons of new content. A lot of Asian Disney stuff coming right at you. Woo! I drove all the way to Las Vegas. Bum, 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 bum. And now I am leaving to go to Asia. Bum, 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 bum. We're going to start at Universal Studios Japan. And I'm going to show you all the cool things that I can. Thank you to our Patreon. We love you so much. We couldn't do these videos without you. You guys are the very, very best.